Hello friends, Anjie Hipple here. Welcome to the Judah Treats program. This first short video is very important for you to watch and give your full attention to because it is training your brain on how to make the most of the Judah Treats sessions. So give your full attention here for a few moments and then you'll be ready to engage your Judah Treats sessions. And you won't need to revisit this video again in the future. You will already know everything you need to know to maximize your time with the treat sessions. But if you want to revisit it, of course you can. So the first thing I want you to understand is that from the moment you came into your mother's womb, you began to hear and feel and sense different things and began to make meaning out of life. And so every moment of your life, from then until now, you have been learning. Every sensory impression, every word, every language, every experience has been a moment of learning for you. And those learnings have been stacked one upon the other in the form of memories. And so memories, which consists of all of our learning, are shaping everything about what we are doing, thinking, and feeling in this moment in time, and they will continue to shape our life going forward. So if you look at this first image here of an iceberg, I want you to think of this iceberg as a metaphor for your mind, okay? So this iceberg is the part that is above the surface, is your conscious mind. That's your current thoughts, feelings, and sensory perceptions in this now moment. And it is any memories that are active and current for you in this moment. For instance, if I said to you, what is the most memorable Christmas present you ever received? Something will pop up from below the surface in the subconscious mind into your current consciousness. And so that memory can be activated into your active experience just by me mentioning that idea to you of a favorite Christmas gift. So look again at the iceberg. Everything above the surface is your conscious mind, which can include dormant memories that come up into your conscious mind. And everything below the surface of the water is all of your subconscious thoughts, feelings, and impressions. It's every sensory impression and linguistic impression you've had since you were even in the womb. So as you look at this iceberg, what I want you to know is that scientists are proving to us that our thoughts, feelings, and actions in the present moment are only run by 5 to 10% of our mind, which is our conscious mind. So what's really important to know about this iceberg of the mind is that 90 to 95% of our consciousness is our subconscious or unconscious mind. And it is driving our thoughts, feelings, and actions in the moment. This is why we've developed the Judah Treats program for you, because many of you are consciously referring to that 5 to 10% of your mind that's above the surface. You are consciously giving so much effort into growing, into healing, into meditating, into loving, into being your highest, best self. But unfortunately, there's a lot underneath the surface in that unconscious mind, 90 to 95%, that are driving your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And so for many of us who've put enormous conscious effort into being our highest and best self, our unconscious mind can derail all of those efforts. In this treats program, we're going to begin to treat the unconscious mind. And this is so powerful and transformative. So when you look at this unconscious mind in the image here, look at all the different layers and fragments and shades. Everything that you've ever thought, felt, or experienced in your lifetime is still present in your unconscious mind. And so let's say, for instance, that you really want to be successful in your work. There can be parts of you in your unconscious mind that really want success. There could be other parts that are afraid of success, or perhaps other parts that have had experiences that cause you to disdain people that are successful. And so there can be many different opposing forces and split energies and parts that are conflicting in the subconscious mind. And so also imagine perhaps you want to have a really successful romantic partnership. And there are parts of you in your subconscious mind that really desire that. But there might be other young, fragile parts that perhaps witnessed painful interactions between parents. Or perhaps there are even older parts of you, aspects of your personality that went through pain in a romantic breakup. And so there can be fear there. And so these different aspects of your subconscious mind can be in conflict with one another. And so that hinders you in manifesting consciously what you want in your life. So anytime that you've set an intention to manifest something that you really want for yourself, and you're consciously aligning with that intention, but you're finding it's not happening for you, that you feel continually stuck, you can rest assured that there can be one or many, perhaps even many things in the subconscious mind that are hindering your manifestation. And in Judah Treats, we're going to treat and neutralize these things that are hindering you in the subconscious. So now in the next image, you see this beautiful light there on the horizon. And this is the superconscious mind. You see, this superconscious mind is the aspect of our consciousness that is eternal, it is flawless, it is blameless. No matter what you've endured in your life, no matter how heinous the traumas might have been for you, this part of your consciousness is perfect. It is whole. It is unharmed. It is the aspect of your being that is connected to source energy, that comes from source energy and will return to source energy when you one day leave your body. And so the superconscious mind is your divinity. It is a part of your consciousness and a part of your personality. Now, what is so important to know about the superconscious mind is that it resides in both your conscious and subconscious structures. And it is able to neutralize painful emotions, and the superconscious mind is able to heal these aspects of yourself that are in conflict. So take a look at this timeline. The superconscious mind is the aspect of consciousness that existed before your conception and came to reside in your physical being at your conception. And it is still present with you now and will continue on after you leave the body. The superconscious is unique because it's never harmed by painful or stressful experiences. It remains neutral, and it remains in what we would likely think of as a state of peace, no matter what your experiences might be. So there are 3 types of memory that we're going to heal and treat during these sessions. The first one is we will call memory 1, and these are very simple impressions and neural networks that develop from conception to just before birth. The second memory structure is memory 2, and it begins just before birth and continues on to around the age of 4. And this is the time in this memory when our basic core personality traits are formed. Some of them we might think of as positive and others we might think of as negative. But all of those traits are formed by memories. And memories, remember, is our learning. So every learning moment that we have becomes a memory that is stored. And we draw on those memories in the present to determine what our next actions, thoughts, or feelings are going to be. So our second memory layer, of course, is predominantly formed by our parents, our siblings, and our immediate home environment when we're young. And memory 3 begins shortly before birth and continues on for the rest of our lives. And so as much as we would like to think that we are making wise choices in the moment based on current information, the truth is that the vast majority of our thoughts, feelings, and actions are based upon the learning that we have stored in our memory. We are primarily living our lives and creating our current and future realities based on our subconscious memories. So active memories and dormant memories are the two types of memories in this memory 3. And these are the memories that we use, both the active and dormant, for the living of our lives in our current experience. But of course, the vast majority of our memories are dormant. If we, and we do, remember every thought, feeling, action, impression, sensory input that we've had since we were in the womb, obviously, if we had all of that in our active experience, it would be total overload and overwhelm. So, of course, our mind will sublimate the vast majority of our memories into the unconscious so that we can operate more effectively. So, to have an example of how this works, when you first began to learn to drive, you were using every conscious resource available to you. You were probably highly alert, really paying attention. You were thinking about where your hands were, what your feet were doing, what was going on with the car beside you, to the front and the back. And you were very consciously involved with the entire process of driving. It was new to you. You did not have a memory base or a memory bank, or very little, I would say, for the process of driving. Well, now, if you've been driving many years, you have sublimated that entire skill set, and all your memories around driving have been pushed down into the unconscious mind as dormant memories. And you likely don't need to draw on those memories for the purpose of driving. You can do it unconsciously. Now, here's another example of a dormant memory. I'm going to ask you a question. Oops, I forgot to ask the question. So you were waiting for me to ask a question and I didn't. And so nothing was popping up for you into your active memory. Now let's try it again. Let me ask you a question. Do you remember the first time you ever rode a bike? So notice that when I said to you, when was the first time you ever rode a bike? You began to scan in your memory 3 to find the memory of the first time you rode a bike. And then that memory moved from being dormant in your unconscious into your active and conscious mind. So we have so many dormant memories, and there are many different things that can cause them to pop up into the active experience. And so for a lot of us, if we have troublesome behaviors or things that disturb us, we have what we call triggers, right? And so we're in the current, everyday happening of our life, and something happens that triggers a dormant memory into our active experience. And so we may not remember all of the details and all the roots of all of this feeling, but there's something about the current active experience that triggers this old feeling, emotion, memory structure, and then we can find ourselves acting out in a way that's not in alignment for who and what we want to be in the current moment. So we're literally acting based upon dormant, unconscious memories. So sometimes in the Judah Treat sessions, we're going to be waking up old dormant memories so that Judah and your superconscious can treat these old dormant memories and remove the pain, the hurt, fear that's associated with those memories. So the great news is you don't need to be overwhelmed with emotion. We just need to have a little tiny bit from that unconscious part active in the current experience in order for your superconscious and Judah to treat it. So if you notice the line going across the iceberg there, the surface of the water, that represents the dissociation process of the mind. And so this is the part of our mind that moves things from the active conscious experience down in the unconscious so that we're not overwhelmed with information. So it would be kind of like if you're working on a computer and you had many windows open and they were active, then it would really slow down the efficiency of your computer or maybe even stop it altogether. And so you would want to go and close out the windows of the programs that you weren't using in the moment in order to free up more open space for what you're working on. So this is what our brain does for us. It moves information that we're not needing in the active experience down into the subconscious. For instance, like the illustration I gave earlier of driving, right? That all the details of how to drive have been sublimated down into your unconscious because it's not needed in your active experience anymore. And this is called the dissociation process. Now, that doesn't mean that all of the things that we've sublimated into our unconscious is not affecting us. Obviously, it's still affecting our decision making, our thoughts and feelings and actions. It's just that we're not conscious that it's affecting our thoughts, feelings, and actions. And this is what happens when memories have been disassociated and sublimated to the unconscious. So the dissociation process is a part of any actions that we do that are unconscious. For instance, we can probably wash dishes or take a shower or drive or ride a bike and maybe even play an instrument almost unconsciously. And so all of that is our subconscious skill sets. Now, the association process allows us to make connections so that we can learn new things and understand and make sense of the world around us. Now, if our association process lets in too much information, we can be overwhelmed by all of our thoughts around a certain topic. But we do want to have an association process that allows in any information that could be helpful for our current experience. So the superconscious helps us with the association process. It helps the association process to stay really focused and fine-tuned so that we don't get distracted by a lot of what we sometimes call in our spiritual work, the monkey mind. So in the Judah Treats process, we're going to ask your superconscious to identify a memory that needs to be touched, to be treated, and the superconscious will then neutralize any pain or hurt or distortion or discomfort around that memory. And so then the memory can be integrated back into the whole of who you are and the whole of your consciousness without causing disturbances and difficulties. The superconscious and Judah are going to work together to neutralize these painful memories a little bit at a time, gently and safely and with complete respect for all aspects of who you are, so that you can be free without being overwhelmed by emotion or memories. So this whole process is going to be very gentle, very safe, very effective, and very much permanent. That's the exciting news. So if something pops up into your active experience in the future after this time, you can simply ask Superconscious, please tag and treat this, and do a massive change history and everything after that. So as you're engaging each Judah Treat session, there will be some dormant memories arising, and your Superconscious and Judah will be treating those. They will treat everything that becomes active for you during the Judah Treat sessions. Of course, there are going to be some parts that are perhaps still dormant during a particular session, and they may appear later at a future date, and then you can go back and address them at that time with a Judah Treat session. Let's get started.